Brothers, good to be back on the mic for another week in the seat for Rising Kings Pod. And what I want to cover on today is this piece around what I call making unexpected chaos your secret weapon. And I throw in some pretty big terms there, but let me share what I mean by unexpected chaos. I call this your inconvenient challenges. And you see, here's the thing, man. I've been working on myself tirelessly for over the past 12 years. Really digging in and uncovering what lays underneath this person, the deep work. Because I'm always looking for how do I continually push my performance, whether that's in business, health, etc. But at the same time, how do I do it while having fun, enjoyment, fulfillment, being able to connect with my wife on a deep level and my kids? How do you bring all this? And what I've understood is that I've learnt a couple of key strategies and tactics, but also two awareness pieces that I think serve to be able to share with you. And that's what I really want to nail in today. And it's not just through my own experience, what I'm about to share with you. This is the stuff I see going on day to day inside the men that we work with inside Rising Kings. And it's also one of those things, through all the conversations I have year on year, this, unexpected chaos, the inconvenient challenges are the things that are creating 90% of our stress, anger, frustration, etc. How you respond to it is the cause. And that's what I want to address today. Because inconvenient challenges, it's important to understand what I mean by this. And so let me throw in what a convenient challenge is. Now, a convenient challenge is you define it, you plan it. Yeah, it's a goal essentially at the end of the day. These goals, these challenges, whether they're physical, whether they're in business, maybe it's launching a product, putting on an event, scaling your business. Maybe it's Ironman triathlons, doing a Spartan race or an ultra, etc. But they're planned, man. You choose when they are, and they tend to align with your goal. But then there's the inconvenient challenges. These are unplanned, right? They're disruptive. What I'm talking about here is these are the challenges when you go to bed on a Wednesday night with all your training gear out, ready for Thursday morning's session at 5 a.m. and at 11 p.m., your beautiful child is calling out either you or chosen one's name because they're vomiting, right? It's when the kids are sick. It's when you get stuck in traffic on the way to a really important meeting and there's been a crash 2Ks down the road and now you're banked up in traffic and you're running late and it's oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? Right? It's when a client moves a meeting on you at the last minute. And it's you had it all planned out. It was all routine. It was all I had the day planned and then that got thrown in. It's getting diagnosed with testicular cancer. That was a pretty big inconvenient challenge for me. It's when you tear a muscle, where I tore my bicep, or it's where you get injured as you're training towards one of your convenient challenges that you've planned out, but you didn't plan to have an injury, a torn muscle, to have to go under the knife. All these little things, man. Maybe it's losing a key member of your staff. That's inconvenient. That's an inconvenient challenge. And I share this is because I want you to understand the difference between the convenient challenge and the inconvenient. Because a lot of us understand convenient challenge, challenges, etc. But it's not until you dig into the layers. And this is new information for me over the past couple of years, right? Digging in is this notion of the inconvenient challenge. Because I'm what's the thing that still rattles us? What is this thing. Like there's still dudes getting rattled even when we've got a good system in place, a good process, when I've got good structures in place, when I'm being disciplined, when I've got the routine. There's still these things that throw a man off course. And that's what I call these inconvenient challenges. And that's what I want to talk about. I really want to help you see something. It's these inconvenient challenges that we need to be looking at through a finer lens, because it shows you where you're at. Because who shows up, man, when your children are sick and you're off to work and you got to get to work, but all of a sudden it's like, hey man, your family's sick. I need you to stay at home. You can't go into the office today, or you need to ring up your boss or whoever it is and tell them that you're going to be late or that you got to take the day off, etc. It's like, who shows up in that? Who shows up when you've been planning on this big event that's going to occur? Let's say it's a physical event, and you've got everything dialed in, and you've booked tickets, and you prep for it, etc. And then you get the flu, the night before or 2 days out. Who shows up, man? Who shows up when you're bedridden for 4 days because you've just had surgery on something, and you can't train and you can't do all the things that you normally do. You can't step straight into your routine and your structure. Who shows up, bro? Who's the man who shows up in that situation? Like that's the stuff in my view. Like that's what we've got to understand, because that's a true indication of where we're at. Not when things are good, man. When life's good and everything's sort of moving in the way it wants, and you might have a couple of little challenges that are there that are just slowing you down or hindering you a little bit. But most of it is convenient. You're still getting into your routine and your system and all that sort of stuff. When that stuff's going on, dude, life's pretty easy. Yeah? But when the inconvenient challenge hits, that's when shit breaks. And so the problem I want to outline here for you right now is that if you don't know how to handle inconvenient challenges, big problems are going to occur. Like the big things I see is like increase in stress, frustration, and anger that leads to massive levels of disconnect. Yeah, you lose your shit at the kids, you blow up, you are unhappy, you are unfulfilled, you are compressed. Your capacity is really low. Like it's either really low or you were tapped out. You're making poor decisions, dude. Yeah, you feel full. Like it's just like everything is chaos. I can't handle this. I'm not a good person to be around. And when we're operating like this, more often than not, it hinders our confidence. It hinders our self-worth. It hinders our ability to show up and do the things that we desire to do. But on the flip side, dude, when we build out and we have the capacity and we have the character that can handle these inconvenient challenges better, dude, this is high levels of resilience, high levels of confidence. It's, you can handle whatever life is going to throw at you. That's a big game shifter. When all of a sudden it's like, dude, it doesn't matter what life throws at me. I know I can handle it. I know I will show up as this person that I am here while everything's good. I will be that same person through it. Like that's the realm we're stepping into here. That's the realm we're looking to nail. This builds stronger relationships, like whether that's with chosen one, with your kids, with yourself, with people around you, man. Building on trust, building on effective communication, because you know where you're at. You can handle it regardless of what's going on. And I think like the other big thing in there is really around personal growth and this notion of calm and control. Like people don't freak out when the chaos hits when they're around you, rather than everyone stepping around on eggshells when the chaos hits, when the inconvenient challenge comes through. And so the reason I share that with you is because now you can see just how important this work is. And that's what I want to show you now is like, how do you fix this? Like, how do you actually build out the capacity? How do you build out the character to handle these inconvenient challenges? Because I stewed on this for a long time. Like, well, how does one do that? Like, it's inconvenient. It's unplanned. I don't know when it's going to hit. How does one prepare for that? How does one set himself up to be able to navigate that better? And that's where my work has really led over these, past half a decade to a decade of work in this, is recognizing that there are specific traits and characteristics and daily disciplines that a man can work on when things are good to set you up to be able to handle the challenge, the inconvenient challenge when it rolls around. And so that's what I want to share with you right now. So if you've got a pen and paper, let's start writing this down. If you don't, brother, go back and listen to this or check out the show notes. The first is what I call emotional regulation. So this is really, man, at the heart of it, I would say the number one thing is this notion of emotional regulation. But to get to it, you have to do that through the inner work. This is what I call self-knowledge. You may have heard me talk about this on podcasts before. It's like you got this level of personal development, and then under that, going deeper, is this notion of self-knowledge, like actually understanding more about yourself. And we get to that through things like meditation and journaling. And it's really the simple part of it is you're asking yourself the hard questions. You're asking yourself the questions around why are you triggered? Like what's causing the trigger? What's actually what lives under the frustration? It's not the fact that you're running late for a meeting. That's not the frustration. It's like what sits under it that's bubbling up. What is the angry bit, the piece that sits underneath that says, I fucked up. I'm going to be ridiculed for being late to this meeting. I'm going to miss out on a deal. I'm going to miss out on money. Like I'm not good enough. Like I did it again. I'm hopeless. I'm useless. Like if you dig down into that, you can start to uncover these types of things. And when you understand the triggers, when you understand why you're frustrated, like the deep rooted cause of it, then you can start applying time, effort, energy into dissolving that and fixing that. So that's the first, emotional regulation. The second is really around acceptance. How quickly can you accept that this inconvenient challenge is happening? Dude, even as I say it, I crack up because it's like, oh man, of course I accept it. Of course. No, you don't. Like you think about it when you're going through it, man. It's like we resist it so hard. Like we really don't want to accept that, oh my God, this is reality. This is the thing that's happening. So it's thinking about it. How quickly can you accept it? And to get there, to get to acceptance, it's really around building what we call the growth mindset, like working on this belief that life is actually happening for you, not to you. Life is happening for you, not to you. And that changes the way you look at this situation. Now, you may not know why it's happening for you. That's irrelevant. You just got to believe that it is. And so some things that you can do, like tactics that help with this, is just a daily gratitude practice, man. Right? Just seeing how good things are and how they start to fit together when you're grateful. The more you're grateful for and the more you practice this, the more you start to see, the more opportunity and the more things that you become grateful of. And so it's such a powerful tool to use in this. And then the other piece with it around acceptance is just running the logical lens over it and going what am I in control of here and what am I not in control of? That's the logical mind. It's just you got to quickly figure out what do I actually have control over here? Most of the time, it's not a lot. It's just how you're going to respond. The rest is out of your control. How long is it going to last for? Is this going to happen? Is this going to Dude, if you don't have control of it, why are we even thinking about it? You let that go. And that's part of the acceptance part of this process. The next is around discomfort. So it's really looking at preparing yourself for these situations. The truth is they're going to happen. They will consistently happen. It's not, I'm going to create a bubble around my life so that no inconvenient challenges ever occur. Maybe you can. I don't have that luxury. I don't think many people who are listening to the pod have that luxury. However, if you do, beautiful, man. Write in and let me know how that went. For those mere mortals that are playing this other game, rather than trying to create the bubble, it's just like, well, let's figure out how we can work through these so when they occur. And discomfort is one of them, is preparing. Now, I want to do a shout out to Chosen One on here because she's brought in this quite funny little saying we have when shit's going down, right? When chaos is hit, when the inconvenient challenges hit our beautiful family or on some level, and it's prepare the vessel. So we're preparing the human vessel for this next bit of suffering, right? It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. We just prepare the vessel to bring in some lightness to something where it's like very, very uncomfortable. So we prepare the vessel. And what that looks like is over time, daily doing this is challenging yourself. I'm talking cold plunges, cold showers, misogis, right? Doing adventures, things that move you way out of your current routine, structure, and set of disciplines, etc., to go and push you into these zones, yeah, like outside the comfort zone. And you don't have to do big, grandiose, oh my God, man, I got to do this huge, big misogi challenge every other week. I'm not talking about that. Misogi is once or twice a year, but every day, dude, like stepping into a freezing cold shower or doing a cold plunge is very uncomfortable. I don't care how many times one practices that. There's not a lot of comfort in there. And I'm always curious of where my mind is, where it's like, don't do it today, man. Have the warm shower. But I need to prepare the vessel because regardless, I want this to happen and I step into it. And that builds out capacity. That builds out the character to be able to handle the inconvenient challenges. The next one is staying physically and mentally strong. And this is, look, I don't think a lot of men overlook this, but it is overlooked fairly regularly. I only got to look at the state of the physical state of most men that are out there at, 35 plus and how they're holding their body. Like it's a very strong indicator of where they prioritize the physical and mental realm, right? Tough workouts, healthy eating. And also too, in here I've put around staying physically and mentally strong is holding yourself accountable, bro. Like if you're going to do things, you say you're going to do things, follow through with it. Like just get it done. Otherwise, don't say it. Because the more we can hold ourselves accountable to our word, the more we build up the confidence. And the more we're prepped and ready to be able to step into the inconvenient challenges as they unfold, as they show through. And then my final one here is around building a strong network. Yeah, like ensuring that you're surrounded with the right type of people, man, like mentors, peers, and brothers who can provide guidance. But also too, what I love about it is they help you ask the hard questions, man. They help you go from this really small, tiny little bit of focus that you got when capacity's flat and chaos is hit and it's so inconvenient, the challenge, and we almost lose sight of the bigger picture. And the brothers are there to help you come back to the bigger picture, man. Expand the view. Bring in the light into this dark scene to be able to inspire you to move through the shitstorm and bring a bit of fun and lightness along the way. And it's so important, dude, because it helps you remember that in these situations, it's not about you. Like these inconvenient challenges, most of the time, is not about you. There's something else going on here. And it's on us, though, to show up our best self in it. And so when we do this, man, more resilient, more adaptable, yeah, we become what I call anti-fragile. You don't just break down when shit gets hot, when the heat's on. It's like you're still showing up, dude. I'm not saying you got to put around like the fake positive attitude and this is fantastic. I can't wait for the next inconvenient challenge to hit. I'm just saying it has to be like that. It's just stepping into it and like, oh, here we go again, man. Like, how much progress have I made since the last inconvenient challenge? Who's showing up today? How's this dude showing up? How's Ben showing up in this moment? Where am I still not free that I get to do some work on? And so to wrap here, brothers, like what I'm laying down here is like the inconvenient challenges you have zero control over. They're gonna roll through your life, dozens, hundreds, whatever it is. You can't control those. But what you can control and what you can build on is your foundations and yourself in terms of your capacity and the character that is able to take these on. And so that's where it's like coming down into the daily work, like these daily disciplines, like keeping it really simple, like a system that you work on that when things are good, you're still doing the work. Because I'm doing the work. We're doing the work when things are good to build out the capacity so that when this chaos hits, dude, it weaponizes us. It makes us stronger. I get more powerful through these because I learn new areas that I can grow in. And guess what, man? The guy who can handle the bigger, harder challenges, is he living a more fulfilling, joyous life or a less fulfilling, joyous life? I think he's experiencing the best. Because life is here to experience, brother. It's not just sitting around and having it all comfortable. Experience all of it. And like I shared on a couple of pods back, like the sweet ain't so sweet without the sour. And the more smoothly we can move through the sour, the more we can savor it. And so being able to handle this, like chaos, like that's to minimize the suffering that happens in it, the pain, the anger, the frustration brings you more fulfillment, more joy, more happiness, more connection, deeper connection to your loved ones. So that we're not trying to minimize risk in our life and spending all our time like trying to minimize risk. It's actually being able to expand and grow and go and enjoy and relish in the life as it presents itself. If this is the type of thing that you want to increase or expand, or you're like, hey man, that makes a lot of sense. Like I've just learned something new here, like this inconvenient challenge, and that is causing a lot of pain and frustration in my life. And you're thinking, how do I navigate this better? Like how do I take all this that Ben's just shared here and how do I pull this into an actual structured day-to-day system, like a process, if you would? Well, here's what I got for you. If you go to risingkings.com.au right now, on there is a label at the top on the nav called event. Click on that, and I'm going to run a workshop specifically around this. Okay, I want to show you the system. I want to teach more men this system that we're using to help men navigate life better, to build out your capacity, to build out your character. And the beauty of it is it's simple, gents. Simple. Because the one thing that kind of hurts me about the whole realm of personal development sometimes is it's just so complex. It's so complicated. And I want to show you a really simple path that if you just do this step by step, day in, day out, this is the thing that builds performance. This is the thing that's going to help you get the desired outcome you're looking to get. So, risingkings.com.au, it's over there, the event. Jump on there. It's free. It's online to expand this out, to share with you, gents. Otherwise, big love to you, brothers. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope that really helped you in terms of navigating the chaos, these big chaotic moments, the inconvenient challenges. And as always, stay strong. Look forward to speaking to you next week. Peace.